I'm at 216 Bonnie Leslie Avenue doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. This is in Bellevue, Kentucky. We're looking for any structural issues, root intrusion, anything that may be of concern to the buyer. The access point, there is a clean out in the basement behind a plate behind the couch there in the center right of the basement. Is behind drywall, but there is a little access plate over it. But we're going to try to go. There's a manhole just to the right of the front walk facing Bonnie Leslie, and we're going to try to go upstream. It actually comes right into the manhole, the lateral does, and so we're going to try to go upstream back into the house this way, hoping that it's a little easier to access so that we don't have to move a bunch of stuff around and cover a bunch of stuff up. So as you can see, there is the house there, and then here's the manhole, and the lateral comes directly into the bench. It's kind of odd. So it's just coming out and dumping onto the bench and then eventually into the main. So we're hoping that it's not too drastic of a dive and that we'll be able to go all the way upstream into the house. Based off the age of the house, we believe it's cast iron inside, and then it'll be clay outside. And so in this direction, since we're going upstream, we'll be going through clay until we get into the house, and then it should switch to cast iron. Little tie in there, that's probably a downspout coming in. This is an area where it would be a combined system. There's another line coming in from the left, which if you were, that's if you're facing the house, that should be another downspout or storm line. Okay, it looks like we are in the house, in the cast iron. I always like to note with cast iron that it is cast iron. You can never tell how much life you have left with cast iron. Not saying it's going to rust through tomorrow or anything, but it is obviously a material that does disintegrate or degrade. Degrade over time, just because of the rust. And so you can't tell without x-ray whether it's those pipe walls are half an inch thick or paper thin. And so I always just like to note that, because you can look for basically functionality at this point and make sure there's no active holes or anything in the line. This looks pretty open. Pretty common to have like channeling in the bottom there like that. The older it gets. I'm trouble getting over that spot there because I'm pushing uphill. Let's see if I can get back. I may be getting back towards the high end of the pipe, and that may be why I'm having a little bit of trouble. Plus I'm also pushing uphill, so let's see if I can get this to move a little bit better here. It doesn't take much sometimes for this to really get any force on it because there's stuff all over the camera. So trying to get up on, normally this would be coming downstream so you'd be able to run some water to help it, but since I'm going upstream it's a little more difficult. There we go. And so I'm going to keep pushing until it ends. It may be there now because it's also going to reduce size as we get further back towards the laundry, stuff like that. So this channeling and stuff is pretty normal for cast iron as it gets older and then around connections, especially when they're like sink connections and like around sink connections and laundry. Stuff tends to build up around it. You can see there's still a channel coming through the center, but there are remedies to this. As long as you're not getting a bunch of toilet paper and stuff down here, it's not a major issue. But cast iron, it's also a lot more prevalent to have what they call soft clogs, which is basically excess toilet paper. You know, wet wipes are a big thing to steer clear of. It doesn't matter if they say flushable or not. They should not be flushed down the toilet, and it's even more important in a cast iron line. Just due to the fact that you can see how rough and everything the pipe walls get, and as they channel, it's a lot easier for them to catch on the rough, the rough interior of the pipe with the rust. And so if that catches, toilet paper will disintegrate and just break down into nothing and flow on down the pipe. Wet wipes won't do that. You can run them both underwater and watch the toilet paper just fall apart. Wet wipes do not do that, and so they are a much bigger problem because they get caught and then they don't disintegrate in the line like toilet paper is designed to do. So then they cause a soft clog or a backup behind where they're at, and then they're usually pretty easy to clear, but they're just a nuisance pretty much. So only use what you're supposed to in these lines. But anyway, I'm going to stop here, pause the video. I'm going to go in and get a locate and see how close I am, because I think I'm back in the laundry room. And so we've already inspected more line than we would have if we would have gone through the main clean out in the family room or whatever downstairs where the access point is. And we're well past that Y end, but we're going to pause. I'm going to locate and check exactly where the camera is so we know how far we've gotten upstream. Well, the line does not want to pause here. So, sometimes it takes a minute for the monitor to respond. I'm going to try to give this a second for the monitor to respond. This is kind of a weird situation. It does this out of the blue and it just won't respond for a minute. I'm sitting here watching some drain fly. see if this works. So yeah, for some reason the monitor is not responding, so I'm going to have to try to locate what this is, or where this is, based off of another piece of equipment I have. Alright, so we are actually all the way back in the, we're in the garage, and that's where the line comes down for the kitchen. In normal situations, we would not have even been able to inspect this far back due to the diameter of the pipe and the layout. We wouldn't be able to get a camera in to access this area. So it's good that we've been able to inspect a little bit further back, but that's the reasoning behind this buildup. Is when you have the white stuff there, it's a little bit of grease layered because of the kitchen sink. If it has a dishwasher or kitchen sink, you always get some grease down the line. Also, you have some liquid fabric softeners. Also have they also leave behind similar remnants of a grease oil layer. But we are already past the connection for the laundry room. The only thing from here up is the kitchen. And so usually the kitchen lines are the worst as far as build up, just because of the food and stuff that goes down your sink. It's by far the worst line in the house and the most common to drain slow and stuff because of food particles and stuff. There are obviously options to clean these. This is open, and you don't have any large objects that would be able to get down that diameter of pipe. How I was mentioned before about toilet paper and stuff, no toilet paper or anything will be passing through this area. And that's kind of what happens. This is pretty normal for a sink line as far as the way it kind of tapers down in channels. And you see all the grease and stuff on the side, and because it's actually kind of soft, you can see where my camera rubbed up against that area and went through. You should be able to see where the line comes in for the laundry here soon. So as we pull back, try to check and see everything a little bit closer. And so this is all, there we go to the left. That looks like that is the line that's coming in from the laundry, and you can see the buildup because you end up getting a lot of mineral deposits and stuff. And if you notice from this area where this gets more water flow, now the line opens up, and so the line is ugly because old cast iron always is like this. It's all rusty and beat up, but there's no holes in the line. Nothing that is, concerning or abnormal for its age. I want to mention again about the possibility of soft clogs. Like I mentioned earlier, you can see how rough the pipe edges are. But this is all pretty normal for a cast iron line. You see the connection coming in from the left. We might be back far enough to where that bathroom is coming in. But right here is probably a floor drain, and as this comes back, that is probably that's a bigger connection. So the other one may have been a sink line. The downstairs sink line. This looks like this would be a big toilet line there. It's a 3-inch. But as we come back, eventually you should see a line coming in from the right. When we get back a little further, and that would have been where we would have essentially originated from if we would have went from the main clean out in the house. It would have limited our ability to even inspect all this line. So and you can see as more fixtures go into the line, the more water flow you get and the less buildup you have. For that reason, it helps flush it out. And there's that little bit of channeling that you start to see in the cast iron. And as we get out here, we've gone back into the clay, so we've exited the house. And so the good news is I haven't seen anything of any concern. Everything looks relatively normal. Again, the only real thing that I always note on my reports, the line is open and fully functioning right now. But you know, I always want to note about those soft clog issues with cast iron, because it's not something that's going to happen quickly. It's just always possible. So I want to make sure that I always try to make sure that people know not to flush weird stuff down their toilet, or to, you know, if you have if this place does have a garbage disposal, you know, it's not meant to grind up full vegetables or anything. You want to make sure you throw most of your food away. If things come off, you know, little scraps come off of your plate when you're rinsing it, that's one thing. But in most cases, you want to try to avoid dumping a bunch of stuff down your kitchen sink. So, we're back in this is my little pipe that I use, this PVC area, where we are out of the pipe. And back out of the manhole. So, no issues. I didn't see anything that was abnormal. Obviously, the cast iron, like we spoke about, is pretty ugly, but that's normal. It looks normal for that age and pipe material. But the line is open and flowing, functioning normally at the time of inspection, and the exterior clay looks wonderful. There's no trees close enough that have caused any kind of root intrusion. That's the most common thing we would see in clay. The clay line looks beautiful on the outside, and so everything looks great. Nothing to really report. There'll be a few notes in my report about little things there, just to, you know, just as a reminder of, you know, regular use and maintenance. But other than that, the line looked great. So that'll end the inspection at 216 Bonnie Leslie Avenue in Bellevue, Kentucky.